Have you ever thought about living in a barn that feels like a luxury home? Well, Barndominiums might just flip your idea of home ownership upside down. Hey, it's David Totten, your host of Living in Danville, Virginia, and licensed real estate agent here in Virginia and North Carolina with eXp Realty. Today, we're diving into one of the most talked about housing trends in 2025, Barndominiums. Yeah, those rustic meets modern homes that are turning heads and flipping the housing market on its side. Whether you're dreaming of wide open spaces or exploring affordable options or just curious what else is out there besides cookie cutter homes, you're going to want to stick around for this one. And trust me, these aren't just for farmers or folks with cowboy boots. They're popping up everywhere and people are loving them. And hey, if you find yourself wondering, could I actually live in one of these? I've got a Zoom link down in the description where you can book a meeting, a free meeting with me to talk about it one-on-one. I love to help you figure it out. What is a barndominium, you might ask? A barndominium, often just called a barndo, is part barn, part condominium style living space. It's a metal or steel building that's been either built new or completely reimagined inside with all the comfort and style of a modern house, just with a lot more space and a lot less fuss. Cost comparisons with traditional homes. So let's talk dollars, because that's usually the biggest deciding factor when it comes to picking a home. On average, a traditional stick-built home in our area can cost anywhere from $150 to $200 a square foot, depending on finishes and labor. But a barndominium, you're often looking at around $100 to $140 per square foot, depending on how fancy you want to get. Now, before you go adding a barndo to your Amazon cart, keep in mind, those numbers can shift based on things like installation, utilities, or whether you're building from scratch or converting an existing structure. And just like with traditional homes, granite countertops and spa bathrooms still aren't free. Now, unless you know a guy, and if you do, send me his number. Hey, I'm still waiting on that granite for free guy. But where the savings really kick in is with the simplified framing and construction. Steel buildings go up faster, which means you're paying less for labor, and they typically require fewer materials overall. Less wood, less waste, less why is this taking so long? Plus, you won't hear your contractor say lumber prices are up again every 5 minutes, which honestly might be worth it just for your sanity. So let's talk about local zoning and building considerations. All right, so you've fallen in love with the idea of a barndominium. But before you go full Chip and Joanna Gaines, there's one thing you must do first, and that is to check your local zoning and building regulations. Because here's the deal, just because it's trendy doesn't mean it's automatically allowed. In Virginia, including right here in Danville, all construction must comply with the Virginia Construction Code, which was last updated in 2021. The code follows the International Building Code pretty closely, but it adds a few Virginia-specific twists. Metal buildings, like barndominiums, can also be built, but you'll need to make sure they meet energy-efficient insulation and foundation standards that match up with traditional housing. Now, over in North Carolina, it's a little similar. That state uses its own version of the International Residential Code. Again, barndominiums are allowed, but your structure must meet residential code standards if you plan to live in it. That means plumbing, electrical, egress windows, the whole shebang. And here's the kicker. Even if the state is cool with it, your local county might not be. Some rural counties love barndos. Some city limits, not so much. It's like asking grandma if you can get a tattoo. Depends on her mood and if grandma had her coffee, right? Here's a pro tip for you. Call your local building and zoning office before buying land. So double check with your local zoning office before falling head over boots for that perfect plot of land. It'll save you time, money, and a lot of gray hairs. Well, I just cut mine off, but hey, here's the pros and cons of barndominiums. Let's rewind for a minute and go a little deeper into the pros and cons of barndos before we wrap things up. And thanks for hanging out with me so far. I want to give you the top 3 pros of barndominiums. Number 1, affordability and faster build times. One of the biggest reasons people jump on the barndominium train is because they usually cost less per square foot than a traditional house, and they go up way faster. Steel structures can be erected in a matter of weeks instead of months. That means fewer weather delays, lower labor costs, and you get to move in faster, which is great because let's be real, nobody likes living out of boxes for 6 months. Do you? Number 2, customization and open concept living. Barndominiums are like a blank canvas. Since the frame is metal and the interior walls are often non-load bearing, you can customize the floor plan however you want. You want a 2,000 square foot great room with a fireplace big enough to roast a whole turkey? Guess what? You can do that. Dreaming of a huge home office, gym, or even an indoor basketball court? No problem. These homes are all about space and flexibility. And number 3, durability and low maintenance. Because they're primarily steel, barndominiums can handle what Mother Nature dishes out, whether that's wind, rain, even termites bounce right off. Maintenance is way easier compared to traditional wood homes. You won't be repainting siding every few years or worrying about wood rot. You get to spend your weekends doing literally anything else, like binge watching HGTV and planning your next project. Now, yes, we talked about the pros, but we can't talk about the pros without talking about the cons. So I want to give you the top 3 cons of barndominiums before I let you go. Number 1, financing can be very tricky. Here's the buzzkill. Getting a mortgage for a barndo can be a little harder than for a regular home. Some lenders aren't familiar with them, and they may not classify them as traditional residential properties. That could mean a higher down payment or needing to work with specialty banks. I actually have somebody I just met at a real estate conference a couple of weeks ago. It's not impossible, but it's definitely a let's talk to the lender first situation. Number 2, insurance may cost more or be harder to find. Insuring a barndominium isn't impossible, but it can be a little weird. Since they're not traditional homes, some insurance companies might have a hard time properly valuing the property, or they might lump it in with commercial or farm insurance. Expect to make a few extra phone calls and maybe get a few confused customer service reps along the way. And number 3, zoning and HOA restrictions. Remember that cool land you found on Zillow that said no restrictions? Yeah, you might want to double check that. Some counties or HOAs don't allow metal structure homes, period. And others have aesthetic rules, so meaning they might make you add brick siding, change your roof line, or follow traditional neighborhood vibes that can eat away the cost savings real quick. So the moral of the story, barndominiums are awesome if you do your homework first. Otherwise, you might end up with a very expensive shed and a lot of questions from your neighbors. All right, other emerging housing trends in the area. Now, barndominiums aren't the only thing shaking up the housing market in 2025. If you're looking for something different, or you just like staying ahead of the curve, here are a few other trends popping up right here in our area. Modern farmhouses and rustic minimalism. Modern farm style houses is still going strong, but it's getting a facelift. Think cleaner lines, less clutter, more natural light. People are loving the cozy country feel, but with a sleeker, more minimalistic twist. Fewer shiplap walls, more wide open, natural tone spaces. Number 2, small scale luxury home, AKA the right size. Not everybody wants a 4,000 square foot home to clean or pay taxes on. Smaller luxury home on the rise. Think 1,200 to 2,000 square feet, but packed with high-end features like quartz counters, smart home tech, and spa-style bathrooms. It's about living smarter, not bigger. Number 3, multi-use spaces and home offices. One thing the past few years has taught us is this: homes need to work harder. Buyers are prioritizing flex spaces like crazy. Whether it's an office that doubles as a guest room, a detached garage that's actually an Airbnb, or a backyard studio, homes aren't just homes anymore. They're many businesses, they're gyms, they're retreats, all rolled into one. So at this point, if your house doesn't come with a built-in Zoom background, and this is Zoom, I actually did this. Are you even living in 2025? I mean, let's be honest. All right, So whether you're dreaming of a custom-built barndominium, a downsized luxury home, or you're just curious about what's possible these days, there's never been a better time to explore your options. And hey, if you're wondering what might work best for you, don't just sit there and guess. Book a free Zoom call with me using the link in the video description below. We'll talk about your goals, your budget, and I'll help you even map out a plan that's fit for your custom lifestyle. This has been David Totten with Living in Danville, Virginia. Thank you for hanging out with me today. Don't forget to like the video. It helps the channel a lot. Subscribe if you haven't, and hit that little bell so you're the first to know everything that is happening in the world of real estate in Danville and surrounding area. Until we see you in the next video, take care. We love you. God bless. Bye-bye.